Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Flexing Joe. Back to recap another day here using our NQ VIX and ES strategy. We'll be going over Tuesday, November 12th. So I'm just going to try to make this a quick one. I am still playing catch up. I've fallen a couple of days behind getting these review videos out. And we're just going to try to do this in one clip. And any mess ups or mistakes, we're just going to live with it. And you guys will get to see that I am, in fact, totally human and spend too much time editing these videos. So here we go. Looking at NQ, right? Here's where we closed. Overnight action, what do we do, right? So we peaked over this pivot, came back down, we just sort of like we're chopping sideways. I kind of noticed that it looked like we were just like in this sort of channel, as you can see here. We faked out down underneath, we pushed back up, right? I don't draw trend lines and channels all that much, but I just kind of noticed like the sideways price action look, so it seems pretty apparent when you throw that on there, but we'll take that off. And then we get into towards the open, right? So right here at the open, we start to look pretty strong. Right, we're holding VWAP, we're holding the 10 minute 20, and we get a push. Right, so we get a CBC flip back bullish, and that's into the open. So now from here, let's see what this looked like on. I need to expand another. What this looked like on 2 minute chart. So this was pretty nasty, right? First 2 minute candle, knifes down. You know, and then you get this, you know, bounce right here. It pushes up, clears the high, comes back down, holds VWAP, and it's just really choppy. So 2 minute made it really difficult. Now here's the thing, right? When we have that candle by candle flip on the 10 minute, we want to be looking for a nice pullback and respect of the 2 minute EMAs, which we did not have yet, right? You can tell just by this look, if you spend enough time on the charts, your 2 minute EMAs are probably just like crisscrossing and they're not all that clean, right? So let me go back to that 2 minute chart again for NQ. And I wish it would just stay. Like, I wish the charts would just stay where you were. So yeah, look, like, you know, the 2 minute EMAs are technically bearish right here. Like, they're still red. So when you push up here, what you're looking to see is the EMA cross and retest. So you finally get the EMA cross here. You don't get a retest here. It knifes down through them. You're not showing any buy or support. And then finally you get this push up. They reclaim. And this is probably your first real opportunity to go long. And I would say that because at this point, your candle by candle at 10 minute is still bullish. And you've now pushed up, reclaimed the 2 minute EMAs. The 2 minute EMAs are bullish, and now it comes back down, and you're seeing respect of them, right? So, you know, if you didn't get in on this candle, on this tap or this tap would both be, you know, viable trade entries, right? Unfortunately, this one, after having this and like this push up here, setting the orb high essentially, you know, you have to be wary of 10 a.m. reversals. As you know, sometimes we'll just pull back to like towards the low of day or whatever. But even if you got in somewhere in through here, right, as long as you didn't get in like once it like fully reclaimed the 9, entries closer to the 20 are your best and most probable risk reward, typically speaking, when your EMAs are getting respect. And you can see that they're starting to respect them here. You get in here around 23, right, you actually do net, you know, over a 15-point gain there. There's no reason why, especially if you're trading minis, why you shouldn't have been able to lock in some profit. And then ultimately your trail stop or your original stop would get hit if you didn't move it up. So choppy off the open, right? And let's go back to looking at VIX and ES. So here's VIX. Here's where we closed. You can see we gapped up overnight. We were holding the bullish EMAs for a bit, and they started to fail. So this 3450 cloud, the longer term trend, I like to have that on there because, you know, as these two, especially after this flips and as these two start to fan out, it can be a good indicator of strength. But once they start losing it and they're just like chopping, it makes me a little bit more wary. Now, you saw that we had a bullish flip long on NQ, but you also had the long flip here into the EMAs on VIX, and then VIX knifes. So that knife on VIX, you know, especially, I'm sure if we looked at it on the 2 minute time frame, and I really wish it would just stay where we were. Yeah, you see the first 2 minute candle, like NQ has the first 2 minute drop. It's a little pop here, comes over, and then it starts to knife, which is great, right? So, back here, I hate that. I really hate that. That's like the stupidest thing on TOS. If anybody from TOS is watching or listening, please fix that. Just stay where I was. So, and if there's a setting for that and you're viewing this and you're like, Joe, you can just click this setting and it'll do that. Oh my God, please. Like, please, I'll love you forever. So, you know, knifes down, right? Your CPC short, that's bullish for the market. So let's look at ES, right? ES closes here at 60.32. So right under the orb low from the prior day. So what I want to call out here is, again, you see sort of this, this sideways price action, right? Pretty much extending, right, the whole way. There's a little swoop down. You actually just barely break this low, which was nice. That was a nice liquidity sweep there in pre-market. However, any pushes to move higher are not sustained. Now, as far as this goes, this 10-minute candle by candle flip and then this pullback here and this pop are actually it's pretty strong. But if you're an ES trader, how would you have traded that? So let's check it out. Minutes. Again, here we go. I gotta go find blah 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 blah. Sucks. All right, so yeah, this looks good. You can see that they push down, hold the 2-minute EMAs that have crossed. Again, pushes down, closes over and holds. So now you get this. This is where you could look to strike, right? Because now you can see that while they did sweep the pre-market high and they go over this level here, and they actually swept over the whole. If you look at it, the whole session high, which was right here, they swept over it. They swept over the close. They hit off of the prior days like VWAP area where VWAP ended. A whole bunch of different strategies in play there, but they can't move it lower. Okay, they failed to move it lower, and you're getting more bullish support, micro higher lows. You see those here, here, and here. So it pops up. Good trade, right? Good entry to take in here, right? Maybe you get in a little later, right? 30. All good. Gives you solid 6 points there. That's fantastic. And then, unfortunately, you come back under the close, and this is a failed trade setup, right? Everything is telling you that this is worthwhile to try the long, and it fails. That's life. Sometimes that happens. I could sit here and give you all of the best trades that you should have taken, but in real time, when you have this and you're seeing this buying under the 20, you're like, yeah, this looks like it could be pretty good. Now, interestingly to note, right? What I noticed observing this is, for those of you who watched yesterday's video from Veterans Day, let's just go ahead and scroll over. And if you look at where price was rejecting, it's right in here is where I identified as one of the top trade setups, right? So you can see that there was a lot of, consolidation here, right? It pushed down. These bulls tried to hold. They tried to hold and push back through VWAP, and they failed. You got the double top here at 39.5, and it knifed, right? It came down here, tested them one more time, and they failed. So, these bulls who failed to hold it, right? They never had an opportunity. Let's just extend this over. Look at them, right? They didn't have an opportunity to get out. Now this is their opportunity to get out, break even. But for the bears, this is their opportunity to get in or add to their position or defend their position or whatever. So again, like I talked about in yesterday's video, being mindful of where are people stuck, right? Because I'm sure that a lot of people might have drawn supply off of this here, and I understand why that works in the moment. But looking also for where people are stuck can be really helpful, and boom, that's what happens, right? Now, if I just duplicate this, because again, I could see how people were like, oh, well, look at this wick, this wick, this wick. Yeah, I got it, right? Respect here. I see that. It's really not all that much higher, right? You can see this general area really between 33 and 36, 37, right? This was a key supply area. And the other part of going long here, now that we're getting back into this trade, the other part about going long here is you kind of are going long near supply. And you want to be mindful of going long near supply, especially when there was kind of this round off. You want to be wary of it, and you want to be thinking about, how do I get the most optimal entry, right? And so your better entry, your safer entry is the 2-minute 20, okay? So you had 1 tap, 2 taps, 3 taps, and then 4 taps. Now, I'm sure that you guys will notice, and you can backtest this too, when you have multiple taps like that, repeatedly, and the EMAs are wide, and they're not getting the pop out of there, and they're not pushing up, it's kind of a clue that something could be failing here, okay? But regardless, if you got in, maybe not the first one, but if you got in on the second one, you got in at 31, okay? It goes to 34. Just say you got in at 30, even if we say you got in 32, kind of sucks. You only get 2 points, but it's enough to be like, okay, and maybe for smaller traders, if you're trading a couple minis, you're newer, take one off, right? You lock in $100, but most people probably didn't. You're probably expecting and hoping for a push higher. And again, this is a trade that fails. So let's go zoom out and let's look at all 3 of them on the 10-minute. Now that I've gone over a couple trade examples, I still want to go over, maybe one more. And this really is in response to a great comment that I got yesterday asking about, real life trade setups and examples and how to best utilize the strategy. So this is what I'm going to do. Now that we've covered sort of the open, oh, we're on, that's today. That was a good day. Here we are. Okay. So you see here, CBC flip short, CBC flip short, CBC flip long. Okay. All 3 of them pushing the same way. Now, obviously I had a key level here. I was watching for this interaction. I've been watching for this to push down and fill this gap here. I was expecting this golden zone area to hold, as it did, and you can see that even kind of peeking ahead, it did push up from there. But for the sake of this, boom, right here, here, and right here. Now, ES was cleaner. ES was far cleaner, and you held that trend all the way down on the 10-minute. While there were some nasty wicks, it held. And Q, on the other hand, much more stubborn and did not give it up, right? So this is where a lot of times, we'll hear people say, or they'll take a short, risking candle by candle flip. You never get the flip, and because you never get the flip long, your short setup is still valid. Now, what that means, though, is that, you really want to be looking for an optimal entry, and you're not going to get it. Looking at this here, you can see the way this is chopping. See this way it's chopping over the 10-minute EMAs? Like, come on. You know that the 2-minute EMAs for an entry model are going to be just absolute crap there. You're just over and under VWAP. You're just playing jump rope with all sorts of levels, and you got to wait until we get out of there and clear that range. So we clear under this range here, and you never know, right? Like, regardless, you're never going to know when we're going to clear this range through here. So just for the moment, we're going to look at NQ. I'm going to put this on the 2-minute. 2-minute. Rewind. Here we are. All right, so again, like I said, look at these EMAs here. They're just absolute crap. Like, so if you're going to be entering, if you're an EMA trader and you're going to be entering, you're looking for, all right, the 10-minute is bearish. I'm looking for, and CBC is short. I'm looking for a 2-minute entry. You don't start getting clear 2-minute entry signals here, right? Here. Right, the reason I say this is because it pops up. This is that 3-bar reversal pattern that I mentioned yesterday. Got to do a separate video on, right? But again, if you don't get that one, then you have this one. This one was nasty. Gotta say, this was just absolute dog doo doo. I apologize. Like, for anybody, I don't know why I'm apologizing. It's not my fault. But if your trail stop got hit here, it kind of sucks. But then, of course, instantly reclaims. When it instantly reclaims, short. Again, it pushes down, it breaks the low of day, it pushes back up. But if you notice, though, that shorts are stepping in and they're defending in through here. This 2-minute 50 EMA, the 2-minute 50 EMA that you have right here, lines up pretty well when we get through to 10-minute 20, right? So you don't get the 10-minute 20 tap here, but this 2-minute 50, the way it's getting defended, you see that it's starting to fan out. See how the EMAs are getting wider, and this black void here is getting wider and wider. This makes me more cautious to try along in through here. However, if you didn't catch that one, right, you see that it pushes back under the 2-minute, right? Now you're still bearish, still very bearish. We move down, make sure that we're, see the 10-minute chart, still very bearish. What happens here? Break the low, pop back up. Now, I understand this is lower probability because you already broke the pivot. But you already broke the pivot, and look at the same time here. Same time, you're still bearish on S, and then what is VIX doing at the exact same time here? We're looking at 1248. Here we are at 1248. We're breaking the high of day. And then from there, the VIX has been real choppy. Like, we're in a really tight range. The VIX has been choppy. It's tough. It's not giving the clearest of signals, and this is why it is the added confluence. And I'm looking at the levels that it has versus, versus where can we get in. Okay, I'm looking at the wrong day. See, I just messed it up. All right, hold on. So 1248, here you go. 1248, you had just flipped CBC long. So you're back to CBC long. Huge push here on the VIX. Thank you. That makes more sense. I was going to say, this wasn't lining up right. This makes a lot of sense here. So again, even just reading the price action, forgetting about all these little flips short, which is bullish, right? You're still like under, you're under here, right? And you're not able to push lower. Again, you push lower, break out of the orb low. Once you break out, what happens? That candle flips back bullish. That's not good. This one, it flips low. It goes lower. It has people probably all kinds of excited. I remember when this candle printed saying, this is why you have to let the candle close. You can't say, oh, CBC is flipping long, let me get in. No, you gotta wait for it to close. And look how wide that 9 and 20 EMA is getting at that time. Not good, no bueno. And this is what it looked like right here. Okay, just peeking over at 2-minute 50. I can tell you plenty of times, guys. You see this, and then you see this rejection. This is like oftentimes not a good idea to go long up here. Okay, and I know I'm rambling, and I see that we're at holy shnikes, we're at 15 minutes, but I'm giving you guys some really good trade examples here. So hopefully, you find value in this video today because I'm trying to give you guys examples of how you can best use this strategy to your advantage. So looking at all this, you really had to be patient. I know it sucks to be patient. I'm terrible at patience. That's my wife and my kids. But man, I'd say this one's tough because you already broke the pivot. But you know, you were breaking pivots down here too. You just kept breaking pivots. However, you kept breaking the new low of day pivots. This is really the pivot to break, which is the session low. Okay, so that's the thing with trading futures, is really looking at the session low. So if we had not broken the session low here, there we go. Here, you just broke it and you pop back up, shows weakness and it goes. After seeing this, and I like this, this is what I really like right here. This double hammer setup here. Man, that double hammer setup, that shows you buyer exhaustion. Buyer exhaustion, they can't push it up. They pop it and then it drops, right? So let me see really quickly. So this is right. Oh yeah, that's good. That's really good. And at the same time, 12:30. Yeah, then you start to get both VIX pushing. See if this looks like 5. Oh yeah, this looks good too on the 5. So lots of confluence here to go short. I like this one. I probably would have taken it. You know, it's bullish until, I'm sorry, it's bearish until it's not, right? And so clearly you can see they weren't getting anywhere, right? And you also too, like if you're marking out the bodies, you had this like kind of nice little like sideways channel here. You call it like a bear flag, whatever you want to call it. I think that looks pretty good. You know, I like that for going short. But also, again, this is why I always watch ES with NQ when I'm trading, because ES is still the king. It is still the king, you know, and it's short. Big rejection out of the EMAs. Sideways consolidation. We can't go any higher. We can't go any higher. We suck. Down to the lows. Now, last thing here, because I didn't cover any of this reversal, I'll just be quick with it, right? Look at where we hit here. See this reversal? Where was that? So for you supply and demand traders, I will call this out. If we go back to the 7th, right? See this is a demand zone, right? I know a lot of people would draw this as demand zone. You would also draw this one as a demand zone, which we're going to mark that. And let's see what happens if we come into that in the next day or two. But like I would have had this one as marked as a demand as well. So originally, you know, that was demand. Let's see how things fared. All right, so you can see we almost touch it. You see we touched that demand zone the day prior, and then what happens? We're unable to break the highs and move higher. We come down to the next demand zone, which, not to get ahead of ourselves, doesn't look good for the bulls as holding, okay? But we'll extend that over and we'll catch up on that in the next video. I'm really sorry, guys, that this video went almost 20 minutes, but you know what? It's one take, and hopefully there's lots of valuable trade insights there for you guys on like how I trade and where optimal entries are, and we'll continue to go over that and weave those into the videos, and I will do my best to continue to talk fast and get the video done in less time. All right, guys, really quick. I forgot one key thing, okay? And that is always be mindful of the 10-minute 200 on VIX, okay? Look at how this rejection right here coincided exactly with the bottom on the whole market, okay? You really have to watch out for that. You do not want to be adding short down here. You want to be trimming and locking in profits when you see us approaching this level. Now, are there going to be times where it blows through it? Of course, that's how EMAs work. But when you see that we push up, can't close above the orb high, and it's a little bit of a warning sign. Then you get this push up here. We push down just a little bit further on the market, and then we turn back green. That's your signal, okay? That's like, hey, I really want to make sure I got my stop in place. I've been moving it down. I'm locking in my profit. All right, so keep that in mind, and thank you all again. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate all the love and support, and if you could gently click that like button, I would appreciate it. Have a good one.